Hello. So, after receiving a lot of positive feedback on this and a couple of other minis I've posted, I decided to try and make this quick video as I've been feeling in the mood for some time now to try and make a kind of tutorial for people who are newer to Heroforge for some time. And the first thing that I want to suggest to people who are newer to Heroforge is that you should never ever stop at the baseline options given to you by the client itself. The base poses and the base colors, though they are good starting points, rarely reach the potential you want to make the perfect mini. As an example, on both of these two minis displayed here, which is technically the same character, there's only one single color that's been taken and used without any kind of editing on top of it, and that is the truffle black hair color, which comes from this folder here. And it's purely because I think it looks like quite a nice hilt for a fancy sword. Um, but aside from that, every color you see on both of these minis has been meticulously edited for the sake of this mini specifically. Now, obviously, it helps if you have a pro subscription and you can save your own colors. But to be completely honest with you, even my pro library is, as you can see here, it's or here or here. It's even these colors are mostly used as starting points rather than the finished colors that I use for any given mini. Um, and just as a base example, for example, with this cloak here, I knew that I wanted to make a dark and edgy cloak, but just pure black, like for example, this one here, it wouldn't look good to make everything just pure black. So instead, what I've done is I have taken a black color and I've edited it here to make the lower layer kind of brownish to give it a dirty look. I'm just gonna quickly reset what I did before. The mid layer is the black layer, is just pure black, and then the high layer is leaving a slight gray, and you can see like which part of it I'm editing here if I change this around. But I'm gonna leave it on gray for now. It's also important with things like these that you lower, as you can see, roughness here makes a huge difference, and I'll get back to this later when we're talking about hair. But just to stay on topic for now, another example would be the steel here, which is used on these clothes. I believe it's this is the one I've used for the chainmail, I believe. Uh, or is it? No, no, no. It's this one here, which I've named Bright Imperial. You can see this is also not a base color, and I believe the one I've taken this from originally is silver. No, sorry, this one. This is just the same base silver as the one you'll find here. And obviously you can see that if I was to actually put silver on, it would be way too bright and it would be way too shiny and it doesn't have the roughness pulled up enough. So instead what I've done is I have used silver and then I've dragged it down. Essentially, I've pulled this up to make it more reasonable and then I've pulled this down a little bit. Now you can see the silver that was previously way too shiny is now starting to look the same as the lower layer down here. Anyway, speaking of roughness, this bar here, um, there was a comment on the Reddit post which was asking about the hair, and there's a few different hairs I've been using for this. The main one is this one here, which I've made myself out of some blonde. I can't remember what the original one was, but there will be a link for this at the end of the video, so you'll be able to use it yourself. Um, and then decals, obviously, because hair is usually brighter at the hairline. I've had the brighter hair here at the front and the darker hair, which is, I believe, one I made for stubbles originally. Yeah, blonde stubble is used from the same template as this one, but is obviously way darker. And speaking of stubble, I've also done this, which is made out of 3 layers, and the upper one having a lighter form. As you can see, there's a slight difference there. Um, but that's how you achieve more realistic looking hair, if you ask me, because see, the issue with the baseline hair colors is that all of them have the, as you can see with, for example, this one, if you look at this, although it looks fine. It is very shiny, and this will be even more noticeable with the black ones. Like for example here, this to me looks as though Heroforge believes that everybody wakes up and the first thing they do is slap a packet of butter onto your scalp. Because this to me just looks greasy as all hell. And what you do here is if you take truffle black as it's called and you pull down the roughness, suddenly it starts looking like actual hair. Now it helps even more if you change the color between these a little bit. So if you drag this one up a tiny bit and just a high one, see now you have this nice dark color underneath and a much lighter color above. Anyway, before I get to rambling, the last thing that I want to go over in this video, since I'm trying to keep this brief, is height. Now, you might think 7 feet, that's like a giant, but another problem with Heroforge is that if it, this character is meant to look like a stereotypical action hero, right? Um, which means you would think slightly taller than average, then he would be maybe 6 feet 2, let's say. But now suddenly this character's head looks way oversized for his body, and he, frankly, to me, looks like a very short person. Not a dwarf, obviously, but short, and this is 6 feet 2. So what I do is if I want realistic proportions, I always go closer to 7 feet. My average is usually around between 6'9" to 6'11". If I want to make someone tall, I'll make them 7 feet or slightly above, like this model. Um, and on a program as cartoony as Heroforge, it's always a struggle to keep things from appearing too childlike. Um, but that's essentially what this video is for. It's to find these gritty little details, like the different coloring around the eyes, or making the eyes themselves a little bit less white than the original, or making like another example here would be the baseline eyes look, they're way bigger, and bigger eyes make you look like a baby. So essentially what I've done is with all of my own library eyes, I pulled down the iris size. So if I put these blue eyes on, I would pull down the size of the iris to 29, and now suddenly it looks more like realistic eyes. And these are just some of the many examples you can use to achieve a more realistic model effectively. But anyway, since I don't want this to go on for too long, I will leave it at that and not overload you with any more information. But if you are interested in hearing more or seeing more in-depth guides on these specific different things, because I've gone over a lot of different techniques here in a single video and I've skimmed over a lot of it, then please let me know and I might be interested in making more of it. Also, I will share the link to this original model without the edits here. Below, but bear in mind that if you don't have pro subscription for Heroforge, then you won't get the second model, which is technically this one. The main model is actually the darker one here behind. But yes, thanks for watching, and see you next time.